Yo, what's up, Plus Ultra fam? It's me, Plus Ultraman, and today we're here for an extra special What If. This one seems a little outside my usual MO because it's a little less realistic than I usually like to go. But I'm extremely excited to announce that this is my first collaboration on the channel, at least at the time of me recording this, and even more excited to be doing it with an extremely talented What Ifer. If that's what we're called. Storytellers? Fanfiction writers? Anime theorists? Well, that's besides the point. The point is, I have fused with Dex Comics on this scenario to do it in a What If one-shot. So say hello to the Plus Ultra fam, Dex.
Hey guys, it's Dex here. I'm here to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe to Plus Ultraman. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video.
So after this video, go ahead and jump over to his channel and see how this timeline concludes. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe as well. With that out of the way, we can get into the story. Now, since the Ginyu Force aren't introduced until the Namek Saga, nothing in the Dragon Ball timeline really changes until then. But to make the scenario work a bit better, we decided to implement a few small character changes. Number 1, Goku is a bit more merciful in this timeline. I like the Superman dubbed Goku we got in the 90s. Secondly, the Ginyu Force is a very close-knit group of friends, not just comrades. They truly care about each other. And finally, Ginyu is loyal to Frieza simply because Frieza is very strong. His loyalty is to his men, and obeying Frieza is the best way to keep them and himself safe. So this timeline doesn't diverge until the death of Guldo at the hands of Vegeta. Here, Raccoon, Berter, and Jace do not act sad about the loss of Guldo because their poses are not going to be off. They're sad because their friend has died. And more importantly, they get very angry. Now, it's totally possible that they mercilessly kill Krillin, Vegeta, and Gohan. But let's say that they adhere to the rules of not interfering in each other's combat. But this does mean that Raccoon beats the absolute snot out of them. And for the sake of the story, they aren't killed, but they are beat up much worse than in canon. This means that when Goku arrives and gives out sensu beans, Vegeta and Gohan are going to get bigger Zenkai boosts than in canon. Instead of Vegeta's increase from 30,000 to 250,000, let's bump him up to about 300,000. And let's bump Gohan up to about 28,000. Now, because we've established Goku as more merciful in this timeline, I'm going to say that he's very adamant about Vegeta not killing Berter or Raccoon, going so far as to go into the Kaioken and deflecting his blast. This makes Vegeta very angry. He rears on Goku, trying to fight him, but jumping into a ×5 Kaioken allows Goku to easily knock Vegeta out, and he tires Goku out a bit as well. Now again, the Ginyu Force is a tighter-knit group in this timeline, and because Berter is alive, I'm going to say that Jace tries to at least carry him off with him to find Captain Ginyu, leaving the much larger and probably heavier Raccoon behind with a saddened heart. The only reason Jace is able to escape is because Goku is currently fighting Vegeta at this time. Jace arrives back at Frieza's ship to find Ginyu waiting with the Dragon Balls, but the two are both surprised when Goku, Krillin, and Gohan arrive right after Jace, actually carrying the unconscious forms of both Raccoon and Vegeta. This happens right after Ginyu is hit with the news of Guldo's death, but he's at least happy to hear that Raccoon is also alive. Goku then tries to reason with the Ginyu Force to leave while they could, but Ginyu, after scanning Goku, only scoffs and claims his loyalty to Lord Frieza would not allow him to do that. After hearing this, Goku, confident in his new strength and wanting to test how far he could push a Kaioken, claims that he can be stronger than that big power he senses off in the distance that he assumed must have been this Lord Frieza guy, and jumps up to a Kaioken ×10, going to a 900,000 power level, and being almost twice as strong as Frieza. Now, Ginyu has a newer model scouter, so let's say that he's able to read this exactly. This also gets him to thinking, this man was not only stronger than Lord Frieza, but also showed mercy to his men, and he was grateful for that. If he was stronger than Frieza, it was better to be on his side than against him, for the sake of his men. Ginyu then broke out into his dance of allegiance, telling Goku that he appreciated the mercy and would happily serve him. This makes Goku sweat drop, but at the very least, he gives out a nervous chuckle and tells Gohan and Krillin to go ahead and summon the Namekian dragon. And then they reveal that they don't know the password, which makes him panic a bit. At this moment, I think Krillin still decides that it would be best for him to go ahead and go to Guru's to get the password. This would mean that he goes a little bit earlier, and he'll still run into Dende and rush back with him, though he'll probably run into Dende a little further into the trip. Now during that trip, I think Vegeta could wake back up to see Ginyu and Goku being pretty friendly with each other. This would seriously piss Vegeta off, and he ends up trying to attack Goku again. Remember, Goku is more merciful in this timeline, and so would try to knock Vegeta out again. The two get into a battle, with Goku jumping into another Kaioken ×4, and this would be a pretty good fight for the two of them. I think they put a real beat down on each other, ending the battle with the two of them knocking each other out, and Goku's body being broken down from the battle and so many uses of Kaioken so close together. Ginyu growls, finding Vegeta a nuisance, and prepares to destroy him, but Gohan, being the son of Goku, would also be very merciful, and would ask Ginyu to spare him. Afterwards, I think Ginyu decides it would now be the best plan of action to put Goku in a medical machine, citing him as their best hope to defeat Frieza, even though he would like to heal his men at the moment. A while later, Krillin and Dende arrive to find Gohan, Ginyu, and Jace practicing poses outside and instantly jump to summon Porunga. Now, because it is simply the smartest wish in story, Piccolo is resurrected and summoned to Namek in the same location as in canon, and with Vegeta not there to argue, the third wish is able to be had in this timeline. I think Ginyu will request for Goro to be brought back to life, but Gohan would reason that they could wish him back later if they were really on their side. Right now, they couldn't afford to. Now, there are a bunch of possible wishes here, but the most likely ones are: number 1, wish Piccolo to their exact location; number 2, wish Goku and the others to full health right now; or number 3, wish Frieza to a faraway location. There is even the possibility of Krillin or someone else making the suggestion to wish Goku or Piccolo immortal. Or Dende could even mention the fact that he can heal people, which would eliminate the possibility of wish number 2. Though Dex and I thought that the most likely wish would be to wish Goku and the others to full health, though as I said, there are a ton of possibilities, and if you don't agree, that's perfectly fine. After the wish, Goku, the Ginyu Force, and Vegeta all spring to life, and after being briefed on the situation, start to prepare for battle with Frieza. They could even spend a little of the time they have left before he gets there to strategize. In our opinion, a much harsher Kaioken strain than in canon stacked on top of a thorough beating from Vegeta awards Goku a bigger Zenkai than in canon, so I want to give him about a 40 times increase instead of the 33.3 he should get, and he'll jump up to 3.6 million. We'll then give Vegeta a similar boost to his Zenkai from Krillin and push him to 3 million. This also means that Piccolo can still fuse with Nail and make his way to the battlefield. Now when Frieza arrives, he gets angrier than in canon, seeing not only the Dragon Balls gone, but also his strongest soldiers having defected. He scans Goku and Vegeta with his scouter, and I think he instantly starts to power up to his higher forms. And with no one else stronger than Vegeta or Goku able to kill Frieza at the moment, and Vegeta surging with new power and feeling superior to Frieza, I think he's able to convince Goku to allow Frieza to fully transform, citing himself as a Super Saiyan, and saying that he let the former Emperor transform as much as he wanted to, and embarrass the fool with the power he was so afraid of. Now, it is certainly possible for Goku and the others to allow this, and only step in when Frieza begins to beat Vegeta, but it is also possible for Ginyu to know Frieza's full power, and try to tell Goku that neither he nor Vegeta could take him in that state. And at that revelation, I could actually see Goku making the kill after he sees how far Frieza jumps per transformation, so around third form, he could actually try and kill Frieza. My reasoning for this being, it seems like Goku can kinda override his Saiyan instincts when he knows the possibility of defeat is much higher than the possibility of success. For example, in Resurrection F, he makes the kill on Frieza when he knows that Frieza is actually going to destroy the planet, and does not let Vegeta get his revenge. That said, you could definitely argue this both ways, and if it did not go this way, then the group could actually fight for a while, and if somebody that Goku actually cared about died, he could transform into a Super Saiyan, and be stronger and defeat Frieza kind of the same way that it happens. The group would then be wished back with the Dragon Balls, while Goku remains on Namek to fight Frieza, and after that, we'd probably go to Yardrat. That's just not the route we're going to take. So, if Goku were to kill Frieza, Vegeta would get pissed, but there is a consolation prize. He could still kill Kakarot. Vegeta openly challenges Goku to a duel, who I'm sure would accept, but I think Vegeta would tell Goku not to use the Kaioken. It was a cheap trick that he'd been resorting to for far too long, and since they were pretty much evenly matched at this point, there was no real reason to use it here. The winner would be the more skilled and more powerful Saiyan, period. This battle would be epic and brutal, shaking the whole planet, and Vegeta will be aiming to kill Goku, while Goku is truly just fighting for the fun of it. His saving grace is a small bit of strength he has over Vegeta, since he is holding back. Most of the group find this an exciting battle to watch, and at the very least, it further cements Goku as a capable leader in the eyes of Ginyu, and earns respect of his men as well. After a battle that lasts longer than 5 minutes on Namek in the anime, Goku and Vegeta are spent, and I think Goku would come out on top, or they would tie. Dende would then take it upon himself to go ahead and heal Goku, and once nudged by him, he begrudgingly heals Vegeta as well. Vegeta then roars and demands another fight from Goku, but I think Goku tells him to wait after they went back to Earth and trained a bit, telling him to just join them so they can fight as much as they like and get stronger and stronger together. But Vegeta is just so angry about being denied both the death of his greatest enemy and his greatest rival in the same day. And at that, he simply attacks Goku in a rage, but he's caught off guard when Ginyu appears in front of him and yells out, "Change now!" The next thing Vegeta knows, he's being punched by his own body, where Ginyu begins to angrily yell at him. Lord Goku had been so merciful, and Vegeta was starting to piss Ginyu off, so he'd be holding onto his body until he could learn some self-control. Now Goku didn't really agree with this punishment, but the idea was funny as all hell to him, and Vegeta was getting a bit out of hand, so maybe a timeout would help him kind of curb that anger. Vegeta, angry, confused, and embarrassed, yells out in pure rage and anguish and begins to blast the ground in a flurry of ki blasts, which actually kicks up a dust cloud. When it settles, Vegeta is nowhere to be seen, and minutes later, they see a Ginyu Force space pod blasting off the planet. This does make Goku sad, but he guesses that they may as well grab Bulma and pack up so they can get home. King Kai can go ahead and tell Kami that the threat has passed, so he should go ahead and gather the Earth Dragon Balls and wish the Namekians killed by Frieza and his men, as well as Vegeta, back to life. Goku, Krillin, Gohan, the Ginyu Force, and Bulma clamber into Goku's ship and say their goodbyes to the Namekians before starting the 6-day trip back to Earth. Now, because Frieza is actually dead and is not there to tell King Cold about Earth, and Namek is still there, I can see King Cold arriving to Namek and interrogating the Namekians. Now, I highly doubt that the Namekians would actually snitch on the Earthling, so I see King Cold destroying the planet at this point. This results in the huge problem of the Namekian Dragon Balls being lost, since Shenron can't make the same revival twice. Now that said, I'm sure Kami could be convinced to make the same upgrades to the Dragon Balls that Dende did. All he'd really have to do is do some training and grow stronger a little bit. If you think about it, he does owe a very large debt to the other Namekians, and I'm sure he wants them to be alive, healthy, and happy. This means that the Namekians are wished back to life and will possibly make a wish to hide their planet from evil people after this. It's also very possible that King Cold would never find Earth, since in the Broly movie it's stated that it was a very low priority planet. So in retaliation for the destruction of planet Namek, Goku and the Ginyu Force actually go out into space looking for him, and once finding him, they destroy him as well. After this, we can move on to our message from the future, and instead of future Trunks like I would usually do, the messenger is someone who looks a lot like an older Gohan. But he's doing a lot of poses, and at some point everyone realizes this is actually future Ginyu in Gohan's body. Future Ginyu explains that everyone had been killed by the androids except he and future Gohan. Desperate, the two had come up with a plan to use a solar flare, and while the androids were distracted, used the body change technique to steal the body of 17. But Android 18 had seen through this plan and thrown the body of future Gohan in the way, making Ginyu and Gohan swap bodies and resulting in future Gohan's death. Future Ginyu then explains to the entire group the same things that Trunks tells Goku in the original timeline. Remember, there's no way for him to write himself out of this timeline by revealing himself, so there's no reason to hide anything. He then shows the entire group Super Saiyan, citing it as a form that Goku had found during his time training with Ginyu before he died in his timeline. He warns Gohan, Goku, and Ginyu Vegeta that they need to reach this form in 3 years and grow stronger than him, or else they would face the exact same future. Ginyu Gohan would then leave back for his time, and the training begins. Now the human Z-Fighters likely got as strong or stronger than Mecha Frieza during these 3 years. I'll link a great video in the iCard that argues this. I bring this up because with 5 new extra strong training partners, everyone would get stronger than in canon. And because Dr. Gero stopped his surveillance before the fight with Frieza on Namek, they wouldn't know exactly by how much everyone would grow. They'd just make calculations. They also wouldn't know of the new allies the Z-Fighters had. We'd also see some cool moments like Jace and Yamcha bonding over baseball, and maybe Jace could even join the Titans. Ginyu and some of the others helped Goku to train, and maybe even start that farming business a little early in this timeline. Now fully aware of the value of training, I think Berto could try and use some extremely heavy weights and maybe the gravity chamber as well to try and truly become the fastest in the universe. Raccoon could maybe join a dance troupe to try and perfect his new fighting style. We could even see Chaozu and Goro, once resurrected, bond over their abilities and train together as well. Also, because Ginyu is so loyal and attentive, I think Goku would take the heart medicine earlier than in canon. That said, it's my personal belief that Goku got the heart virus on Yardrat, and since he didn't go there in this timeline, he won't be contracting the heart virus in the first place. Now, because I don't really like to use power levels for the Cell Saga, as the numbers begin to get ridiculously big around this point, for the sake of scaling, I'm going to give you percentages of how much stronger people are in this timeline compared to their canon counterparts. So let's say that Goku and Gohan are about 20% stronger than in canon, Piccolo 15%, Tien and the other Z-Fighters about 60% because of who they've been training with. Though that said, I will provide power levels for the Ginyu Force, since they are not canonically here in the story to scale off of. Ginyu Vegeta has a 260 million power level base, with a decent filler for Vegeta's body. He hasn't completely mastered it, though he can go Super Saiyan. Raccoon is at 410 million, Jace is at 425 million, Berta is at 430 million, and Guldo is at 42.5 million. At 9:30 AM on the morning of May 12th, the now much larger group of Z-Fighters stand on a cliff overlooking South City. Two big changes here are that Bulma is either without child or with the child of Yamcha, and I personally don't think that Yamcha and her have the chemistry to get back together at this point, but it can definitely be argued. And Chaozu was allowed to come in this timeline. This means that more warriors are able to go out and search the city, so let's say that Jace, Berta, and Yamcha form a team and begin to search themselves. When Yamcha is grabbed by Android 20, Jace and Berta would try and help out, but they aren't strong enough to overpower the androids and probably end up in similar situations. Goku and the others would then show up, and Raccoon and Tien are probably tasked with getting the others medical attention. Like in the original story, Goku still tries to get Jiro and 19 to follow him out of the city, and they do so willingly. And because Goku is stronger than in canon, I think Jiro is a little bit more surprised than the original timeline, especially everything he just wasn't aware of until now. The new allies Goku had and the staggering power increases the Z-Fighters had gained were shocking, and this culminates in Jiro losing a lot of confidence and being very wary. Now when Android 19 and Goku start their fight, I see Goku having a much easier time than in canon, and possibly refrain from using Ki Blast excessively. If he were to use any, and he would at some point inevitably, then 19 would absorb them. This would probably continue until Goku either notices that 19 is getting stronger from his attacks, or when someone points it out for him. Either way, at some point, Android 19 is snuffed out by Goku himself. Dr. Gero realizes this is not a good situation for him, and creates a distraction. He can maybe detonate something inside Android 19, or attacks future Ginyu when he arrives. He then escapes during the chaos, and with this he's able to get a better head start than in canon, and makes a beeline to his lab, getting inside and leaving the large group of fighters to chase after him. Once there, 17 and 18 are released, kill Jiro, and free Android 16, who warns that Goku is about to arrive, getting them all to rush outside and pounce on him. Now even though Goku is strong, he is not strong enough to hold up against any 1/3 of this trio, let alone all three at once. And Android 16, unlike his brother and sister, is going straight for the kill. Piccolo and the others try to jump in and save him, but get trounced just as hard as in canon. Even Ginyu as a Super Saiyan is ineffective. With 16 just about to make the kill on Goku, Ginyu yells out for Goro to activate Escape Plan Alpha, and the little green guy takes in a deep breath, stopping time. He then takes telepathic hold of all his allies and quickly begins to fly up with them, trying to get to the lookout while turning blue in the face from all the strain. But he holds out for them and makes it to his destination and allows time to flow again, dropping to the lookout, passed out, while the group try to recover. Goku will likely then be given a sensu beam, and the decision to go into the Room of Spirit in Time is made, with Goku and Gohan going first. And a while later, the Ginger Town Massacre starts when Piccolo and Kami begin arguments about fusing. So Ginyu decides to take his men and investigate while Kami and Piccolo figure everything out, and fly off where they meet Cell. A battle between the Ginyu Force and Imperfect Cell takes place, and I can see Cell trying to make a stand and drain someone. But the Ginyu Force has such strong teamwork, they are able to stay alive and push Cell to his breaking point with some strong combos. Just when it seems like Cell might get the jump on Ginyu, a huge power is sensed, and Cell activates a solar flare and flees before Piccolo arrives with his new power, stronger than in canon. The G-Force is exhausted when he arrives, and Piccolo rounds them all up to return to the lookout. Once there, he waits and tries to find the androids, and once sensing their destruction, flies there immediately to take them on. Now that he is stronger than in canon, I think if he and 17 try to fight, Piccolo has a much easier time fighting him. He actually gets very close to making a kill, but 18 steps in and helps him. Now it's highly likely that Piccolo could actually make the kill here with his Hellzone grenade. But I actually think that Cell would sneak up on them and attack 17, absorbing him. Ginyu probably would have told Piccolo about Cell, so I could see him telling 18 to leave while he held Cell off. And 16 would probably try and stay as well to try and help. This would just barely slow Cell down, but might buy a small bit of time. But then, before anything else could happen, Krillin shows up with Gordo, and Krillin actually destroys 18 with a remote that Bulma had made. With his plans thwarted, Semi-Perfect Cell goes on a full rampage, killing Piccolo, Krillin, 16, and Gordo, and anyone else that came at him. Now Cell could definitely consider destroying the world, but it's definitely more possible to go and try again in another timeline, so I don't think he'd take that risk. He begins to search for another time machine, and you could get the Z-Fighters trying to stand against Cell in vain. But finally, 24 hours have passed, and a Master Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan emerge from the time chamber. With no possibility for Cell to reach his perfect state now, Goku makes the kill, and everything with Cell and the androids actually ends right there. Though, with Goku being more merciful in this timeline, I think that he could convince the others to allow him to revive the androids just without all their programming and stuff like that. King Kai would then contact Namek and have Piccolo wish back so that he and anyone else can be revived after they have been killed. Now something extremely interesting happens about a month or so after the death of Cell. A Saiyan pod lands on Earth, and from it emerges the form of Vegeta Ginyu. Now again, because this character has no canon power level or scaling around this time, I have to make him one up. So, me and Dex estimated one around 180 billion. We decided this because it's very likely that Ginyu never trained in that body, and from looking at what Frieza could gain from training, any training done with high potential will garner higher gains. And since Ginyu was the strongest of the Ginyu Force, he would therefore get the strongest. Vegeta then puts his two purple fingers to his forehead and disappears out of sight before reappearing in front of Goku, who was currently training with Ginyu Vegeta. The two see Vegeta, and Ginyu is shocked while Goku is happy he had finally returned, already knowing what he would want, and Goku was all too happy to accept. But again, Goku is stronger, and I think he very easily beats Vegeta. At this point, Vegeta is just done. Kill him now. He can't take any more of this, and he's sick of losing to Kakarot. At this, Goku gives Ginyu puppy dog eyes, and the body snatcher sighs and decides Vegeta had earned his body back and makes a switch. Ginyu then tells Vegeta that he should try and fight Goku in his own body, as he was at a severe disadvantage with the current situation. Now Vegeta considers all this, and by no means is happy with this situation, but I think he would take this chance to get stronger and continue to battle Kakarot until he could finally beat him at some point. But that, plus Ultra fam, is where we'll be leaving this timeline off for now on my channel. Dex has the last part on his channel, so go ahead and jump over there now that the video is over. And as always, go beyond plus Ultra. See you guys next time.